Tomorrow night, in New Jersey, two men walk onto the same field. One of them turned 19 last week. His contract prices him at €1 billion. The other is 39. He's earned $1.8 billion, one of only two players in football history to become a billionaire. FIFA pays the winning team $50 million. And here's the strange part. That $50 million is the smallest of those numbers. By the end of this video, you'll see the real prize. You'll see who actually pockets the money, and why the players themselves never touch most of it. Spain versus Argentina isn't just a final, it's a collision of two economic experiments. Spain is the fastest growing major economy in the Eurozone right now. Argentina just dragged inflation down from over 200% to 33%. And on each side, the story runs through one star. So here's the question nobody asks during a World Cup. What is a superstar actually worth to a country? Not transfer market gossip, real money. We're going to follow the cash through three layers: the player, the business around him, and the nation behind him. Each layer is bigger than the last, and the last one flips everything you think you know about who wins tomorrow. Start with the teenager, and start with a puzzle inside the puzzle. Lamine Yamal has scored exactly one goal at this World Cup. He arrived nursing a torn hamstring. By his own standards, it's been a quiet tournament, so his price should be falling. It's rising. To see why, look at the machine attached to him. Yamal signed a 6-year deal with Barcelona, running to 2031. Base salary, around €17 million a year. With bonuses, reports say it can approach $40 million. That made a teenager one of the club's top earners. Above Pedri, above Gavi. Transfermarkt values him at €200 million, the youngest player ever to cross the €100 million mark. Messi never hit that number at 17. Nobody had. And that release clause, €1 billion, exists for one reason. It's not a price, it's a wall. It tells Real Madrid and the Premier League, don't even call. But the contract is only half the machine. Adidas signed Yamal to a 10-year deal reported at $34 million, and they handed him something no player has ever had: permission to wear Messi's own signature boot line. The Air, literally standing in the master's shoes. Around that sit deals with Beats, Visa, Konami, American Eagle. His Instagram following nearly doubled in 18 months, 24 million to 42 million. Every follower is inventory. And here's the stat sponsors actually care about. Across World Cups and Euros, Yamal has started 12 matches. His team won all 12. Quiet tournament or not, he only ever leaves the field a winner. Sponsors aren't paying for the goals he scored this month. They're paying for what tomorrow night might make him. Now the veteran. Forbes puts Messi's career earnings at $1.8 billion. This year alone, $140 million, half from playing, half from brands. Inter Miami's owner says the club pays him $70 to $80 million a year. But the players' union lists his guaranteed league salary at just $28 million. The rest comes from somewhere else. Revenue shares with Adidas, with Apple. Read that again. A club, a shoe company, and a trillion-dollar tech firm split the bill for one man. Hold that thought, because it's the first crack in the story. If clubs pay stars this much, why do sponsors pay them even more? Because the paycheck was never the real number. July 2023, Messi signs for Inter Miami. What happens next is the cleanest economics experiment football has ever run. One variable changes, one man arrives. Ticket resale prices jump 1,700%. In his first 2 months, he generates an estimated $265 million in ticket sales. Not for his club, across the whole league. The Chicago Fire made more from one Messi home game than from all their other home games combined. Think about that. A rival team earned more from his visit than from its own season. Then there's Apple. The tech giant had signed a $2.5 billion streaming deal with the league. Subscriptions were crawling. Messi announces. The service gains 300,000 subscribers in a single month. His Miami jersey becomes the best-selling sports jersey in the entire Adidas portfolio. Not the best-selling soccer jersey, the best-selling jersey, period. Inter Miami's revenue grows 350%. The club's valuation heads toward $1.5 billion. And my favorite detail, Miami's sponsor contracts had a hidden clause, written years in advance. If the club ever signed a player with 5 Ballon d'Ors, every sponsorship fee would automatically double. Only 2 humans on Earth qualified. The club built a legal trap for Lightning, and Lightning signed. Now do the math from Messi's side. He's paid, say, $80 million. He generates hundreds of millions. For the club, the league, Apple, Adidas, ticket scalpers in Chicago. The Star is a power plant, but most of the electricity runs into other people's houses. And if one man can light up a league, what happens when he lights up a country? Which brings us back to that FIFA check. This is the biggest World Cup ever played. 48 teams, 3 host countries, and a record prize pool of $871 million. The winner's share, $50 million, is the largest in history. Even a team knocked out in the group stage walks away with $12.5 million. Sounds huge, but watch where it actually goes. The money is paid to the Football Federation, not the players. The federation decides what trickles down, and the typical player share is 20 to 30%. Split that across a whole squad, and for some players, a World Cup winner's medal pays less than a single month of Yamal's club salary. The check was never the prize. Here's what economists found instead. Marco Mello at the University of Surrey studied 60 years of data across dozens of countries. Winning the World Cup adds roughly half a percentage point to a nation's GDP growth for the next 2 quarters. Before the last final, analysts priced that boost for Argentina at around $1.3 billion. And here's the twist. The boost doesn't come from parties, or beer, or tourism. It comes almost entirely from exports. 5 to 6 extra points of export growth. Why? Because for 6 months, your country's name means winner in every market on the planet. The flag becomes a brand, and brands sell beef, wine, machinery, and vacations. Melo saw it clearly after Brazil won in 2002. Foreign sales of Brazilian products jumped in the months after the final. No new factories, no new trade deals, just a name that suddenly meant something everywhere. We watched it happen in 2022. Demand for Argentina's number 10 jersey exploded worldwide. Adidas booked an estimated 400 million euros in World Cup-related sales. By last December, Argentina's Football Association ranked as the strongest national football brand on earth. Ahead of Brazil, ahead of everyone. One man's left foot became a national export subsidy. So tomorrow's winner gets the bigger prize, right? Billions in trade, not 50 million from FIFA. Slow down, because history has a nasty counterexample. And it's wearing a Spain shirt. Spain, 2010, world champions. The greatest team of their generation. Xavi, Iniesta, a machine that never lost the ball. Half the country stood in the streets of Madrid to greet the trophy, and the economy grew 0.2% that year. The win landed in the middle of a sovereign debt crisis. Banks failing, unemployment exploding. The export boost drowned before anyone could measure it. Compare the neighbors. Italy won in 2006. The economy grew 1.8%. Germany won in 2014. 2.2%. Spain won and kept sinking. The lesson is brutal. A World Cup is a coupon. If the economy behind it is broken, the coupon expires unused. Now look at tomorrow through that lens. The roles have completely reversed. 16 years is all it took. Spain in 2026 grows 3 times faster than the Eurozone. Unemployment is about to drop below 10% for the first time since 2008. Tourism is at record highs, and a win would crown a new golden generation, led by a 19-year-old with a decade of brand value ahead of him. If Spain wins, the machine is primed to convert glory into exports. Argentina is the mirror image. The inflation collapse from 211% is real. Markets upgraded its credit rating. Oil production is breaking records, but monthly inflation is stuck at 3%. More than $20 billion in debt payments come due this year, and economists openly disagree on whether the recovery holds. There's one more shadow. Argentina's entire football brand, the strongest on earth, remember, is built on a 39-year-old. He's tied for the tournament lead with 8 goals. He's still the product, and when Messi walks off that field, possibly for the last time, nobody knows how much of that brand walks off with him. So here's the cruel arithmetic of tomorrow's final. Argentina needs the win more. Spain can cash it better. So here's the system, revealed. A World Cup star is not an athlete with a salary. He's a leveraged bet on a nation's brand. The player captures a slice, a big slice, life-changing money, but every layer above him multiplies it. The club doubles its sponsorships. The league sells subscriptions. The sponsor sells 400 million in shirts. The federation banks the FIFA check. And if, only if, the economy behind the flag works, the country converts 90 minutes of football into billions in trade. The teenager and the billionaire aren't just playing for a trophy tomorrow. They're the frontmen of 2 national balance sheets, and the market has already priced them both. Back to that field in New Jersey. $50 million for the winner. Now you know why it's the smallest number out there. The real stakes are a billion-euro wall in Barcelona, a league in Miami rebuilt on one man's shadow, and 2 economies waiting to see if a trophy can still move a GDP. Whoever lifts the cup, remember the 2010 rule. Football can hand a country the coupon. Only the economy can cash it. And Argentina knows that better than anyone alive. A century ago, it was one of the richest countries on earth, richer than France. Then it threw it all away, decade by decade, mistake by mistake. How that happened is a wilder story than any World Cup final. That's the next video. Watch it here.